I know you. Actually, you know me too. I know you very well. How many of you are going to be the first in your family to go to college? How many of you have parents who never got past high school? Okay, watch this. How many of you have parents, a parent or parents who never got past junior high school? How many of you have parents who never got past elementary school? I know you. I know you. How many of you are already leaders in your home because your parents depend on you to help them navigate the system, to get out there and talk for them sometimes, to help them understand what this document says? Right? I had to be an attorney before I ever went to law school. I know you. How many of you have visited colleges throughout the country so you know exactly where you want to go? Not me. Okay. Lucky for you who have. How many of you have siblings who are watching you so they can know what to do when they get there? How many of you know that no one cooks a better meal than your mom? I'm telling you, that one you don't beat me on. That one is mine. That one is mine. And one of these days I'll invite you over and you will taste. We had some barbacoa the other day that was just the best. It's like you keep saying, oh, I could, dame otra tortilla. Yo creo que puedo con un taquito más. El cilantro, la cebolla, la salsita. I know you. And the reality is you know me too. Because see, the reality is that you know where I'm going to take the state of California as the 33rd Attorney General for the state of California. You know that already. And I know where you're going to go too. It's like the saying that we have in Spanish, right? Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. It's very similar. I know where you're going, and you probably have a sense of where I'm going, because I can tell you where I'm going from if you just take a look at where I came from. For me, there's nothing more important as the chief law enforcement officer, the chief lawyer for 40 million people, than to say that if I'm protecting people like my mother and my father, then I'm doing a pretty good job. That's my job. Nos conocemos. And so let's not be strangers. Do not be afraid to come up to people you know. How many of you have a family where you learn, cuando entras a la casa, saludas. Y no, hey, hey grandma, or no, un besito. And before you leave, regardless of how many family members are in that house, el besito otra vez, right? No way to get around it. We know each other. No me tienen que dar un besito, but come say hello. And let me tell you, when I had to be an attorney for my parents because they got swindled out of most of their money in their bank account, which for them was a lot, even though it was probably no more than about $3,000 at the time, they depended on me. And so it would have been helpful if I could have said, you know what, I have a friend whose mother is an attorney. Let me check with my friend, so maybe his mom can help me out. But of course, professionals were not in our environment. But I'm telling you, you know me. So next time your uncle says, oye, mija, ¿sabes qué? Necesito a alguien que me puede ayudar con este mecánico que me cobró mucho. Hey, don't worry, yo conozco al Procurador General de California. Don't be surprised, I may call you back. Okay, so I know you. I'm not supposed to be here because I'm the son of immigrants. My dad didn't go past the 6th grade. My mother didn't come to this country till she was 18 when she married my father and came from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. I always say that because I know someone's going to cheer. Either because they're from Jalisco or because they love the way you say Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. But back in back a year ago, today, 2016, back in November, right after the election, 2016, no one knew who would become the next AG once Kamala Harris, the existing AG, was going to become the sitting senator. I didn't know that either. But when I tell you that I should not be here, it's not because I couldn't have even predicted, even as late as November of 2016, just weeks before Governor Brown offered me the position. It's that no one expected someone like you and me to be the next AG in a state that looks just like you and me. And so that's why we need you so soon and so profoundly. Because we got to change this. There is no reason why we should be saying, and the first Latino to ever be Attorney General for the state of California. Eso tiene que estar en el pasado. And you will make that change. I guarantee you right now, as we speak, don't forget, because when I run into you and I'm a nobody and you guys are the AGs and all the rest, I want you to remember that I told you in this room is at least the Attorney General for the state of California, if not the governor. And as you already heard, Raulino's going to be President of the United States. So we're set. We are set. So I'm going to tell you all right now what you already know, because you are here. You're taking a very precious seat that very few people get. The sky is the limit. Here's the way my dad used to tell me, the sky is the limit. Mi hijo, si te puedes levantar mañana y ir a trabajar, es un buen día. Because for him, if he didn't get up at 5 in the morning and get up and go do construction work in 100-degree weather, laying asphalt, using the jackhammer, digging ditches, he didn't know where the paycheck would come to help feed the family. He had to be up in the morning. He had to go to work the next day, regardless of how tired he was. And it would not be a good day if he could not go to work. And so every day that he got to get up and go to work, whether it was as a construction worker or way back when he started off shining shoes when he was 6 years old, if he could work, it was a good day. But see, that's changed. Because I look back at one generation to my mother and my father. My father, as I said, 6th grade. My mother, in those days, it was hard for women to get accepted to go to universities. Especially one who came when she was 18, not knowing English. And then I look forward to Marianne's 3 nieces, Clarissa, Olivia, and Natalia, all of whom are now in college, in good colleges. And that's how quickly it changes. And so, mañana va a ser buen día, because we're going to get to go to work. And we'll continue to be there, paving the roads, we'll be picking the crops, but we will also be the top law enforcement officer, 40 million people in the state of California. We will be the governor of this great state, and we will be the president of the United States of America. It'll be a good day to get up. And here's about the only thing I think I want you to remember about Javier Becerra as the 33rd Attorney General for the state of California. I've got your back. You go out there, you excite people. You go out there, you take chances. You go out there, you scrape your knees. You go out there, you fail. You go out there and get back up. Because don't you worry about looking behind and saying, wow, should I have really taken this course? You keep going forward. If you go forward, I've got your back. And don't you stop. That's what the only thing I think you need to know about this Attorney General is, I want to see you move. And all I want to see is the dust that you leave behind. And I've got your back as you make this a greater state than it is today. So don't you stop, you keep going. And a final point, and this is where I would like to end. I learned this from 2 people who I care deeply about. Let me start with the one you probably have heard of. His name is John Lewis. John Lewis grew up during the civil rights movement. He was in his teen years when Martin Luther King started the marches on Washington, trying to change the way America thought about people of color. John Lewis was one of those people you'll always see in those photographs as the group of marchers were trying to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And there lay in front of them a whole bunch of cops with police dogs and batons and horses waiting for them. John Lewis was one of the first ones in that line. He was one of the first ones who was attacked. And he will tell you, he didn't know if he was going to live that day, because he did get beaten. John Lewis would always tell us, as a member of Congress, he got elected to Congress a little bit before I did, and he'd always tell us when we had a really tough issue in front of us, and we in the Democratic Caucus were getting ready to go into battle, he'd always say to us, don't forget, we do this for a lot of people, and so we have to be ready. But however difficult the battle, this is what he would tell us, this is what you got to know, and this is what I want you to know. You got to get in the way. You got to get into trouble. Good trouble. But you got to get into trouble. Because he says, if you're not willing to do that, we'll never change anything. You got to get in the way. Because from where we're coming from, they don't even see us. We got to get in the way. I had another friend, not quite as well known as Congressman John Lewis, civil rights icon and hero John Lewis, but still a good friend. Danny House. When my daughters were young, my youngest, Natalia, used to play baseball. And when she graduated from T-ball to actually play her pitch, it's always tough when the kids are really young and they're first starting to pitch, right? Because it's tough to get the ball over the plate. And so it was always tough for the hitters, the young hitters, to try to hit the ball because the ball was coming all over the place. And you know, after a while, after 4 pitches, you walk. And so you could get on base. But Danny House always used to tell his daughter, Vanessa, when you get to the plate, you be a hitter. If that ball is anywhere near you, you go for it. You be a hitter. And I kind of kept thinking to myself, man, I like that. And so I always start telling Natalia, you be a hitter too. When you get to the plate, you try to hit the ball. There are going to be a lot of balls that come at you. Some are going to be really nasty. Some are going to be really curvy. Some are just going to be, thrown into the dirt. You be a hitter. Your team needs you. All the people who couldn't come to this conference, all the people who you know, that's your siblings, your friends, who are never going to go to college, all the people who are hoping as dreamers that they'll have a chance to stay and actually do what you're getting to do. All the people like Manuel and Maria Teresa Becerra, who could only dream and only hope that what they could never experience would be available to their kids. You be a hitter. You get in the way. And don't worry, you'll fall. It's gonna hurt. But I already told you, I've got your back. So it's time. You are leaders. We are envious of what you get to do. Don't stop, because we need you. You be hitters, get in the way. And not just California, but our nation will be a much better place. I thank you for letting me come, because as I said to you, you knew me, and I know you. And that's why I'm so thrilled to see what the future leadership of this country is going to look like very, very soon. Thank you very much.
On behalf of everybody that's here, we'd like to give you a small token of appreciation.